Year 9 of Rainbow Six Siege will be kicking off with the release of Operation Deadly Omen. In this video, we will go over the new operator, his unique gadget, the shields rework, the changes done to attachments, and more. As always, a massive thank you to Ubisoft for inviting me to play the new season early. The new operator for the season is Deimos. He is a 2 health and 2 speed attacker and will have access to the AK-74M and the M590A1 shotgun, and for his secondary, he will have access to the brand new .44 Vendetta revolver. This revolver has a lot of firepower, you can 2-shot any defender, and it also has very little recoil as well as a clean built-in scope. It can also make holes in soft walls and open hatches. For gadgets, he can pick between frag grenades or hard breach charges. His unique gadget is the Deathmark Tracker. This is a small helicopter-like gadget that reveals the position of any defender on the map. He starts the round with 0 but will accumulate more over time up to a maximum of 3. Even though this gadget seems like it flies away in the animation when it's activated, it doesn't actually travel any distance and it gets where it needs to go instantly. This is how it works. First, the defender needs to get identified by either getting themselves or their gadget pinged. This will add them to Deimos' target list. Deimos can then scroll through the list, and once he selects his target and activates his gadget, the defender's live location will be revealed to Deimos and only Deimos for 15 seconds. However, Deimos' location will get pinged to the defender as well, but it won't be live. Instead, it will be updated every couple of seconds. This gadget will remain active until the timer runs out or Deimos himself or his target dies. Like I mentioned earlier, only Deimos and his target can see each other's pings, so it's very important to communicate what you see to your team to take advantage of your new information. Before the gadget gets activated, everyone on both teams will get notified that Deimos is about to track a defender, and once it's active, Deimos can only use his .44 Vendetta and not his primary weapon. Synergies with Deimos are attackers that can take and contest space quickly and help him kill his target, such as Ashe, Ying, and Blitz. Counters include operators like Mute and his signal disruptors, Tubarão and his Zoto canisters, and Vigil with his ERC-7. It is important to note that when the gadget is deployed, it cannot be cancelled. It can be disrupted if you, for example, walk into the range of a signal disruptor, but it will continue to ping you as soon as you leave the jammer's effective range. Vigil will not be pinged while his gadget is active, similarly to how he can dodge a line scan, and Solus can see him, but only when he deploys his gadget. After the gadget is deployed, he is no longer visible. In Operation Deadly Omen, Ubisoft are also introducing the shield rework. This rework will focus on ballistic shields, meaning Fuse, Blitz, and Montaigne while the shield is not extended. Clash will not be affected by this rework. Okay, so here's a list of things you can now do as a shield player. You can reload behind the shield, you can now break through full health barricades, you can now push back defenders using your melee button, so basically the same effect as Oryx. You can now activate triggerable gadgets, such as for example a breach charge from behind the shield, and you can also throw throwables from behind the shield as well. In addition to all of that, you can also free look to have a look around for more information. To do this on PC, hold the left mouse button and move your mouse. Now, you might be asking yourself, how do I shoot? Well, to do this, you will now have to aim down the sights, which will leave your head exposed. You can no longer hip fire. Defenders can counter you by simply shooting your shield. If your shield is getting shot, you will get a debuff that will prevent you from sprinting for a couple of seconds, which will give the defenders a chance to get away and get help. Attachments will also get a few changes this season. Let's start with the elephant in the room. The 1.5x scope and the 2x scopes have been removed from the game. Ubisoft will still use the casings of the scopes, but they will no longer be of the same magnification. From now on, scopes will be split into 4 categories: iron sights, universal 1x sights, magnified 2.5x scopes, and telescopic 3.5x scopes that will of course be exclusive to the DMRs. This means that the scopes have been redistributed. Most attackers will have access to the magnified and telescopic scopes, and yes, that does mean that Ashe finally gets her beloved ACOG back on the R4C. Ashe mains rejoice! Defenders will have limited access to these scopes, but here's a list of the defender weapons that will have access to them. Castle on his UMP, Duck and Rook on their MP5 and P90, Tachanka on his 9x9 VSN, Frost on her 9mm C1, Maestro and Alibi on their ACS-12, Cade's TCSG-12, Goyo's Vector and TCSG-12, Wamai's MP5K, Melusi's MP5, Aruni's Mark 14 EBR, Thorn's UZK, and Tubarão's AR-15. This season, Ubisoft will also slow ADS speeds across the board, but this does come alongside some changes to the underbarrel attachments. First, the laser sight will now give you an ADS bonus of 15%, which means that you will ADS faster when it's equipped. The angled grip will now give you a 20% reload speed bonus, which does feel significant, and there is a new grip called the horizontal grip, which will give you a movement speed buff when you have it equipped on your weapon. There are a couple of important balance changes coming this season. The most important one, Azami's Kiba barriers will now be vulnerable to bullets. They aren't super easy to destroy, but you can get rid of them with enough firepower. I don't have an exact number of damage that it absorbs, but for assault rifles at least, it does seem to be somewhere between 1 or 2 full magazines, which if you have someone with you, it can be taken down a lot easier, so it is recommended to bring a teammate with you when encountering a Kiba barrier. LMGs now will have slightly less recoil to make them easier to control. Also, they will now cause the operator using the weapon to move 10% slower, but this can be reduced by using the new horizontal grip. The goal of this nerf is to encourage players to use LMGs as a support weapon rather than an entry weapon. For player comfort this season, Ubisoft are introducing pre-visualization for projectiles, which will be available to all throwable gadgets, including Azami Kiba barriers, black eye cameras, drones, grenades, and more. When moving, you will only have a slight trail, but when you stop, you will have a completed arc letting you know exactly where the gadget will land. If you don't like this to be on your screen, you will have an option in your settings to toggle it off. Moving forward, there will be new restrictions to play ranked for new as well as returning inactive players. A player is considered new if they have not played a ranked game before Operation Deadly Omen, and they will have to have 10 attackers and 10 defenders unlocked in addition to being level 50 in order to unlock access to ranked. A player is considered inactive when a player hasn't played a single PvP match in the previous season. To regain access to ranked, these players will have to win 5 quick or standard matches. The game is always changing and content is being added constantly, so this is done to help a player familiarize themselves a bit with the new content before jumping into ranked with other players. This season, Ubisoft will also be introducing 5 new maps to the Versus AI playlist. They will be adding Chalet, Cafe, Bank, Consulate, and Oregon. And the AI can now play as Melusi and Alibi, while the players can also play as Ash, Finca, Jackal, Lion, Buck, and Diana, in addition to all the other operators that are already in place. The AI this season have gotten better and smarter and have become more challenging to beat. I'm speaking from experience. In regards to map training, they have added 4 new maps: Skyscraper, Coastline, Border, and Night Haven. With the introduction of the R6 Marketplace, Ubisoft have added a new inventory menu, which will give you a much easier way to browse through your collection of cosmetics. The menu will be split into a bunch of categories. For example, the weapon section will have a weapon skins, attachment skins, and charm skins section, and those can be sorted in different criteria as well, such as name, operator, and rarity. And you can also favorite items in your inventory so they will be easier to find for next time. That's all I had for you today. A big thank you once again to Ubisoft for allowing me to play the new season early, and I will see you all in the next one.